Hi, Schlockmeisters fans. We're going to watch something here called Twisted Nerve. Let's check it out. This is Martin on the left there. This is his Down syndrome brother that he's spending some time with at an institution where he's staying. Martin's in a store, and he's going to steal a duck. He's also going to see the lovely Haley Mills. She plays Susan.
Here we are, miss. Your receipt.
Yes, we know.
They get stopped by the store detective.
Your boyfriend here put another toy in his pocket and didn't pay for it.
Boyfriend? I've never seen it before in my life. They do know each other, Mr. Goss.
They didn't know each other.
Georgie likes ducks. Never meant to take it. He forgot.
He has a split personality. Susan takes pity on him and agrees to pay for it herself. Keep him out of trouble.
If I'd pay for it.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I'd like to. Please. Here.
Thank you.
Martin back at home.
And all this other junk, that's going too. You've just got to grow up. Darling.
Martin does some sleuthing and tracks Susan down. She works at the library.
Georgie. Hello. What are you doing here?
He's there to repay her.
In about 3 weeks' time.
Martin's being shipped off to Australia for a job.
Yes, I've spoken to our people. They fixed a job for you. Sheep farming. Well, what you make of the job is up to you.
They come from money. But Martin says, I'm an adult. You can't make me do anything.
How about that? Here. You can try starting as I did. With 50 pounds. Let's see how far you get. Now pack up. Go on. I want you out of this house by tomorrow.
So uninvited, he just shows up at Susan's house. That's her mom.
Yes?
Hello.
Well, who do you want?
Susan, please.
Dear Susan Harper, my son has told me of your kindness, and I'm glad to hear that he can stay with you as a paying guest. He has money and will be no trouble. I shall be abroad for a week and hope to thank you in person on my return. In the meantime,
They do rent rooms out here, but they refuse him.
Please, he'll be no trouble.
But Susan takes pity on him. It's raining. She thinks Georgie/Martin
And he wets the bed
is a
with
simpleton.
sheets.
The others in the house seem to welcome him.
See, George. You like the movies, do you? What about Batman?
Well, Georgie becomes infatuated with Susan. I mean, she's a babe. He gets a little jealous when she runs off with Philip one day.
Tomorrow. So on, Buster.
Oh, Georgie.
Meanwhile, when he's playing the part of a little kid, he is
Oh, it's you.
very juvenile.
Having a race? Winning?
Georgie always wins.
Good.
Martin goes out one night with a pair of scissors. Goes back to his home and puts a knife into his stepfather.
After that,
Turns back to Susan's house as if nothing ever happened, but
Brutally murdered.
it did.
Henry Durnley found stabbed. Multiple stomach wounds. For me, will you?
The police investigate the murder and they're exploring Martin's stepfather's house, mom's house. They steal a picture of Martin for evidence. More jealousy for Martin/Georgie as he sees his Susan get felt up. Both cheeks. They go swimming at one point, and when they get dressed, Martin uses the opportunity to stand in front of her naked. And then he tries to make a move on her. Georgie calls, pretending to be his dad.
I said my work's almost finished and I'd like Georgie to join me. It's time you had a holiday.
While putting some stuff away in the drawer, Susan finds a handwriting book with a bunch of signatures with Martin's name, as well as some other books that don't seem to be belonging to a simpleton.
Something I remember reading.
She's reminded of the murder that happened recently in the banker. She thought the last name was familiar, and sure enough, 22-year-old son left behind.
What do you mean?
She goes to meet
Forgive me, but
Martin's mom.
Is Martin mentally backward? Retarded? Martin retarded? Certainly not. He's a perfectly normal, healthy boy.
1 in every 700 is born a Mongol. About 10 times that number. Roughly 1 in every 100.
He's apparently a
Suffers
Mongol.
from other forms of mental disturbance.
One day while he's out chopping wood, Susan's mom gets frisky with Martin.
Take your filthy hands off me!
You're mad.
Susan comes home to find her room in shambles.
Don't scream. You?
What for?
Getting married. Go ahead. Put it on.
While he's forcing Susan to put on a dress, another one of the house guests finds Susan's mom in the shed. Susan tries to escape, and the two of them struggle. And then he shoots himself, kind of.
Martin's dead. He's been back. Not Georgie.
A twisted nerve, a ganglion gone awry, predestinates the sinner or the saint.
All right. Let's talk about Twisted Nerve. I'm not sure how I originally acquired this movie, but I know I had a PAL VHS tape of this. This had never been released on a videotape in this country. It was just available overseas. I don't know, I'd read some stuff about it, thought it was a cool movie, so I tracked it down and I got it. So, and it is a cool movie. I haven't seen it in probably 20 years, but now I have the PAL DVD, and it's a pretty cool film. So, anyway, it stars Hayley Mills, who I remember from like Parent Trap. I'm going to do another movie of hers in the very near future called Deadly Strangers. She plays this girl. She meets this guy at this department store who's stealing a duck, like a toy duck. His name is Martin, but he's a split personality. Sometimes he's Martin, the 22-year-old. Sometimes he plays the part of Georgie, like a 6-year-old or something like that. So anyway, Martin steals a duck. She feels pity on him when they get stopped and pays for it for him. And then he becomes kind of obsessed with her because she's cute. She's adorable. I get it. So anyway, one day he comes from money. His mother and stepfather have a lot of money, but they're tired of him hanging around the house. So they decide to get him a job as a sheep farmer in Australia, I guess one of the company businesses. Well, he refuses to go and says he'll just find something else to do. They kick him out of the house. He ends up at Susan's doorstep. Now, Susan's mom takes in boarders, but they weren't prepared for this. So they tell him to get lost. Well, Susan then takes pity on him again. It's raining. He's basically a moron. She thinks he's some sort of special needs type thing. So they decide to take him in. And then again, he just kind of becomes obsessed with Susan. They're friends and stuff. They go swimming at one point, and then he tries to make a move on her, and she rejects him and slaps him. Don't ever do that again, sort of thing. One night, Martin sneaks out of the house with some scissors, goes back to his home, and kills his stepfather. And then later on, he's back at the boarding house, and Susan's mom, of all people, starts coming onto him in the tool shed, and then he freaks out and kills her with a hatchet. Well, prior to this, Susan had done some sleuthing and found some stuff in his room to make her think that he isn't really Georgie. She knows him only by Georgie, but she sees something that says Martin Drury, whatever his last name was, and she recognizes that as the name of the banker who got killed recently. So she thinks Georgie is really Martin, which he is. Goes to speak to Georgie's mom, and she gets nowhere with her. Comes back home, and at this point, Georgie's hiding in her bedroom, and he's got a dress set up for her. He forces her to get into it, says we're going to get married, that sort of thing. He starts freaking out. They have a fight, basically. They're struggling. The police come. The body's found of the mom in the garage or the shed, wherever it was. And then Georgie takes a gun and shoots his mirror image. Shoots him, and then it says, I just killed Martin. Georgie didn't do it, or something like that. Georgie's okay. Martin's dead, that sort of thing. Clearly, he's nuts. And then the police come, and they take him away, and the last scene in the movie is him in a cell of some sort. That's our film. That is Twisted Nerve. Apparently, what he had was Mongolism or something like that, which I guess there was an extra chromosome or something that just basically made him have a few screws loose, and that's the thing here. So anyway, that is Twisted Nerve. Again, I think this is a really cool movie. It's a little long. It's an hour and 52 minutes, but it's pretty cool. And Haley Mills is very easy on the eyes. She has a very, very brief nude scene if you look closely as she's changing her clothes in the woods. But yeah, I think this is a pretty stylish film. It was well done. It's a PAL DVD here, and I was actually impressed. Studio Canal put this out. The quality is fantastic. Much better than the VHS tape that I had years ago. Now, just so happens I picked up this DVD about a week ago, and also during this past week, Umbrella, the company from Australia, has announced a Blu-ray release of this, and Umbrella's releases, I think, are usually region-free. So if I had known, I would have waited and not picked this up, but you can get this DVD pretty cheap. It's about $10, and again, it is a PAL DVD, so you need a region-free player to play it, but it's a cool movie. So anyway, I think the Blu-ray is coming out in January? December? I can't remember, but it's coming. Check it out. So anyway, check this movie out. It's well worth a view. It's a good film. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Twisted Nerve. Watch it. Bye.